This was a scary quote in Google Marketing Live 2025, and I'll quote it. This is verbatim. Only way to win in the new era of search is with AI powered campaigns.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the PPC Cave with me, Ryan Fenton, and my co-host, Gene Villanoz. Say hello, Gene.
Hello, hello.
It looks a bit busy this week because last week I was all on my own and I tried to navigate Riverside, which is a software we use for the first time. And I think I did a decent job. But this week I'm back. He's back. He's joining me again for another time, for another episode. Gene Villanoz, how you been? Where you been, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. Appreciate you taking the lead last week with a solo episode using Riverside. And yeah, I'm doing well. Speaking of, we do have a Riverside code if you want to check that in our or our video description. If you want a trial, go ahead and click that. And yeah, you could see what Ryan did basically last week.
Yeah, I think, we were using, Zoom before. We'll be completely honest. I don't think we got to gatekeep anything or hide anything. We were using Zoom before, and that was fine, by any means. But to take it to that next level, I think Riverside is just like a million times better. And I think it's perfect for content creators. So if you guys are watching this and you're thinking, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel, or I want to start like a Spotify podcast, or whatever it might be, and maybe you're currently using QuickTime or you're using Zoom or something else, honestly, check out Riverside. It's pretty badass. I love the layout. I love what we can do with it. Everything just seems so clear and crisp and high quality. So yeah, take a look at the comment below. I think in the video description that Gene will put together, or Joel, and yeah, take a look and get that free trial and see how you get on with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's good to have you back, and it's actually fitting that you are back, because we've got a big one that we're going to talk about today. Google Marketing Live, everything you need to know. And it's pretty much a reaction episode from us. It's the PPC Cave reacts to Google Marketing Live 25. There's been a lot of big announcements that have come out, and we're going to go through a couple of them each, I think. I sent Gene the link earlier, so hopefully you've got that up and ready to go. But yeah, just before we get into it, how you been? I mean, let's have a little check-in. How's things? How's life? Yeah, I missed you last
Yeah.
week, my friend.
Miss you too, buddy. Yeah, life is good. Busy. We're trying to rebrand on my end from genevillanoz.com to tempest59.com, provide a little bit more of a cleaner anti-agency website for the clients, and so been busy with that. And I think everything else has just kind of been on cruise control. What about you?
Yeah, that's good to hear, by the way. I like the new brand. I've seen it. I think I'm following it. I really like it. So it's a good strategic move on your part. I'm good. I got new glasses, so I'm happy with that. Some new, like, what do you call it? Blue light glasses. Highly reviewed and pretty good. And not to mention, similar to Gene, I'm trying to scale up. I think that's my goal for 2025 is to take the business to the next level and get a lot more clients. So if you are watching this or listening in and you do want a Google Ads manager, definitely go with me. Don't go with Gene. He's rubbish. Come with me. You get to hear my British accent all the time and my knowledge. But no, Gene is also amazing at what he does. So either one of us,
Thank you.
is definitely, you're welcome. Either one of us is definitely a good investment. So anyway, getting onto it. Google Marketing Live 2025. Everything you need to know. PPC Cave reacts. Do you want me to take the first one, or do you want to take the first one?
No, go ahead. Yeah, while you're at it.
While I'm here, okay. So I'm going to be cheeky and go with the one that I think really stood out to me when I was reading it earlier, which is the smart bidding exploration. So one of the main things that Google announced was that smart bidding exploration is going to be available to us, which, from my understanding, is if you are already scooping up all the leads, all the sales on low intent keywords, and you're looking to move the needle a little bit more, you want to generate some more leads, some more sales, maybe start looking at top of funnel. Maybe you've exhausted bottom of funnel, lower funnel type of traffic, people that are ready to buy, ready to, in that mindset to call a business and get them out to do a job or whatever it might be. Now we've got the ability. Well, I mean, you do have the ability already. You could look to run a broad match campaign and do that. But what Google is saying is smart bidding exploration. And let me share my screen. In fact, you can now reach more potential customers with Google's new smart bidding exploration, which uses AI to tap into high performing search queries that may have been missed before. With flexible ROAS targets, campaigns can go beyond narrow, high intent terms and start capturing more exploratory searches, like someone researching how to buy a home rather than just searching for mortgage rates. It's all about finding hidden demand and driving more conversions without needing to change your entire strategy. I think how it looks is there's like a setting. I wonder if it's in there. Yeah, so it looks like this. It's like in your campaign settings, you've got like a bit of a risk reward tolerance, I guess, the ROAS target tolerance. So you can set it to what you want it to be. And it's just a checkbox. Allow smart bidding to explore new traffic on this campaign. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. Like I said, the ability is already there if you want to kind of test that high top level kind of searches and keywords with a broad match campaign. So it'll be interesting to see how this works and how this performs. What do you think, Gene? What's your initial thoughts on smart bidding exploration?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's essentially just really doubling down on the AI. When you discussed more top of the funnel, I think that was a big like pattern with what was going on with all of Google Marketing Live. And I also feel a little skeptical, of course, because I think the focus was, oh, you're missing all these clients that are coming from a how-to search or a what we would call back then non-transactional query, something like best plane rides from here, or the top XYZ. Those were always considered less of a search keyword that we want to target than something that's more down funneled, like American Airlines ticket, So, yeah, I'm skeptical, but I do believe that it will help just because of the frequency that it'll show up. You know what I'm saying? And if we're going with the attribution, the data attribution of conversions, it's like, okay, this dude saw this YouTube ad a million times, even though they didn't click it. They only clicked it once. So we're going to attribute 99% of the conversion of that, So I'm skeptical, but very interested in what they have to roll out.
Yeah, and Google are claiming that they've seen, so they ran this test, apparently an internal test from March 11th to April 11th. And there was an 18% increase in unique converting search query categories. And then there was a 19% increase in total conversion. So, Search Engine Land has it right here. This move continues Google's shift towards AI-driven campaign management. And we know with AI Max, which we covered a couple of weeks ago, that this is the direction that they want to go in. I think the reality is that we are maybe going to see a keyword-less future, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years. Who knows? We may not have keywords that we bid on. It may move towards dynamic search ads. It may move towards AI Max. And now we've got smart bidding exploration. So we could go more towards intent, more towards, well, I don't know, like interest-based targeting, audience demographic-based targeting. Who knows? I'm just being very, hypothetically speaking right now. We may still have keywords in the next 5 to 10 years. Who knows? But it's going to be interesting to see what smart bidding exploration does, nevertheless. Did you want to take the next point? I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, well, I had my kind of like my own
Okay.
things that I wanted to go over, and I know you were probably, taking a look too. But just we talked about the smart bidding exploration. In general, they were discussing ads and AI overviews, and for the longest time, it's been Google Shopping ads that take the very, very top space on google.com. And if you've been searching on Google, which I'm sure everyone has, AI overviews now is the very first thing that you see on any search. It's always going to be AI overviews. And the fact that what Ryan was discussing also from a how-to search or what we call, non-transactional search, such as people just looking for best restaurants, this and that, inside that AI overview on desktop, there will be now little sponsored Google Shopping items. Their example was, how do I bring a dog on a plane? And so it showed that on AI overviews, and then right underneath on the very top was like a sponsored product listing ad carousel where it had, I guess, legal or types of bags that are plain, certified, I guess, for small dogs to be carried on. So I think that's really interesting because it leads to the question, will an AI or LLM provider, such as Perplexity or ChatGPT, be the premier way that we search, and not only search, but also run ads on? Because right now we're running ads on google.com, but so now it's almost like Google's trying to beat ChatGPT or Perplexity to the punch, saying, okay, our ads, AI overview ads, it's there. You know what I'm saying? So that's how, you're gonna stencil off us. So yeah, that was very, very interesting, but I also feel like a defensive market share tactic or move from Google against the big players like OpenAI and ChatGPT, with making sure that they have ads on their AI LLM before anyone else. So yeah. Any
Yeah, and I
thoughts?
think that yeah, absolutely. I think that goes towards this shift we're kind of in the middle in, where people are regularly saying to me now, I'm not even using Google as much as I used to. I'm using ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever it might be. I'm using that to search and find things for information, things like that. So I think this smart bidding exploration, as well as the AI overview advertising, kind of blends together quite nicely, because if we've got a number of users here that are starting to use things like ChatGPT and Gemini for their searches, then it makes sense to include advertising as part of that. So that's going to be really interesting, and it was obviously the next step with that. Now that AI overview is, as Gene says, becoming the main thing that you see as soon as you do a search, and it is helpful. It is very helpful. I think I've seen a few instances where the data is incorrect, but for the most part, it's pretty solid, and it's just the logical next step, I think. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely agree.
cool. I really wanted to find one, but I couldn't really find the one I was looking for. I saw it earlier, and it's really annoying that I can't find it. So I'm just gonna. Do you want to kind of fill in while I see if I can find this? Because it was such a
Yeah.
good thing for I wanted to discuss.
Right. Aside from ads in AI, they also said that they were going to have ads in AI mobile. So, I mean, that's going to be, essentially like ads in Siri, but ads in AI mobile or AI mode, sorry. And then the big thing I believe they're really trying to, hammer in is more YouTube placements of video ads, both and just video in general being a part of the ecosystem of ads. They mentioned that YouTube is a huge factor for conversion rate increase, just because it's basically reminding a warm customer that you're still top of mind with the branding that you have. And I think social media proof in general is going to be, part of just the buyer experience. And I've always told clients this in e-commerce. If you don't have social media, that's like one of the biggest identifiers if a website, especially e-commerce, is legit or just a scam website, because that's social proof. So I think having a YouTube channel, making sure that you have YouTube videos on there and increasing the YouTube placements, I think that's going to be bigger and bigger. And they also mentioned video ads on search and shopping. So it's becoming less of what we're used to before, where it's just static imaging. But I think, making sure that there's video on your PMax, on your YouTube channel, and also introducing the reels. I think they're going to have ads on reels. So ads everywhere. And they even had this creator or this content influencer come out, and they have this creator hub where it's like you could find, I think it's almost like you're pairing up with influencers where you could find people to basically in your niche to push your ad or push your product. So I think that's good. It just kind of is more Gen Z. I feel like because Gen Zs are totally on their phone, the TikTok, and just the fact that TikTok Shop is huge. I think being able to run ads on specific reels is kind of that next mode. Maybe there'll be like a Google shop on the reels, just like TikTok shop. But I think that is definitely coming out. So just seamless video. I do like the QR idea. But yeah, there's just so much. Go ahead. Did you find what you were looking for?
I did, yeah. Let me just throw that one up. And it kind of leads on nicely to what you were saying, which is Google Ads, new AI tools and agentic. I can't even say that word. Agentic capabilities.
Nice.
So basically, number one is that Merchant Center is going to get like a whole kind of makeover to a degree. It's going to be the same Merchant Center that we know and we love at the moment, like Merchant Center Next. But now we're going to be able to see like a few generated for you type of product imageries in like a product studio. So similar to how I think we see when we're creating a performance max campaign, we're able to go in and, this has been like an automated generated image or whatever. We can do that now based on products, I think, inside Merchant Center. I think that's what they're saying anyway, or at least it's upgrades. But this is obviously US only. So my fellow Brits, I'm sorry to hear it's not coming to us right now, which is a shame. Image to video. So Google Ads image to video transformation is now available in Merchant Center and is coming to Google Ads in the future as well. And we've also got Google Ads AI out painting, which SC Roundtable here is saying intelligently expands videos beyond their original frames. And this is how it works. So I guess you can like choose a few products that you've got together. If you're obviously in the fashion niche as a business owner, you can say, right, these trousers, pair it with a top, pair it with a look. And that's what we've got now as well. So that's really exciting. And video management. So now, like Gene was saying before about YouTube kind of videos being everywhere, I think Merchant Center is going to be the place where we've got video assets and we can manage those. And it kind of looks like this. You can see here, we've got videos that, for Bose and things like that, headphones, where your videos are from, so your website, you're using 82 videos from your website, 48 videos from your social channels, 122 in the product studio and things like that. So that's just like a better place, because I think at the moment there's not really anywhere you can kind of manage all the videos that you've got from one like place. I think, when we create like a Performance Max campaign, you can pull from YouTube and things like that. But now we're going to have like a bit of a creative hub, a bit of a video hub. And that really, and this is kind of just leading on before I was going to say what I'm saying, but now video ads in search, which is a big one as well. Really, really big. And it goes on from what Gene was saying. But yeah, Google is testing video ads in Google search. And it's going to look like this. So, you scroll down and you can already see the video kind of going there and things like that. So this movement into video, I think is huge. And again, it makes sense because if we look at, like Gene was saying, Gen Z, and we look at the way the world is moving at the moment, it is all YouTube, TikTok, short form content, influencer content. We're a world of consumers at the moment in terms of entertainment. So it's kind of split between people that are consuming and people that are content creators as well. So I think this shift towards more visual video content in the Google search is really going to pop and stand out. However, the problem there is that if you're using Google search and you're scrolling down, you see 5, 6 videos, it could be quite overwhelming. So that's the other thing, is that you may need, to have a bit of a limit on how many videos advertisers can show. So it might be text ads, it might be some with assets, and then might be some with videos as well. Because if you have too many videos, I think it could be too busy looking. So yeah, definitely a move towards video. But Gene, I'm keen to hear your thoughts on, obviously, video ads in search, the video assets feature in terms of Merchant Center next, and this kind of like AI. Here's like some pants or whatever. Put a look
Mhm.
together and things like that. What's your thoughts on all of this?
Yeah, I think the video ads in search is super important with what they're doing with Search Max. I think the video ads in search go hand in hand with the features that Search Max is going to be able to deliver in the future. Maybe not right now since it's still in beta, but in the future. And I think it's almost becoming where back then we used to think, oh, those are display ads and this is search. But now display search is like, if you're watching me on YouTube or Spotify video, it's all blurred together, and it's almost indicative of how they kicked off Google Marketing Live with saying that search in general, not search campaign, but just search in general has become less predictive now with video and how people move through their mobile phones, where back then what our thought was they're going to search 5 times and buy. Yeah, that might be true in some cases, but the integration of video search all on different channels and omni channel approach is becoming just blurred lines. So I think, it's good, because I do think that's how Gen Z and even some millennials, how they search is if they're scrolling, they're not going to read. But if they're scrolling and see like a video of what we have right now, the bays, if you're watching us on YouTube, that is eye catching. So
Yeah.
I do think the adage of a picture is 1,000 words is just part of our human nature, especially at this point with so many distractions on our mobile. But yeah, I think also where you have it basically all consolidated in one area for Google Merchant Center, all your videos. I think that's beautiful. I think I really do
Mm.
like that. It kind of is a mirror. It's, if that said you have one video on YouTube, you're probably going to tell your client, dude, can we get more? Or, I'll make some for you. It's not going to be like Mr. Beast, but I'll, put a slideshow on Canva to have your, so something like that. I think it's good to have a hub where all of those videos live. And it just makes it a little bit more clean. I do like the Google Merchant Center next. It's leaps and bounds of how Google Merchant Center was. I think they're just going to continue to fill it out. But
What
yeah.
what I was going to quickly ask you, do you know what sort of like browser this is on? Because my Merchant Center doesn't look this clean. I don't know. This is why I was saying before, are they doing a bit of a redesign? Because mine doesn't look this clean. Mine looks a bit more haggard and old, I guess.
Yeah, I don't notice that how this looks, to be honest. Maybe if this is how it's rolling out, I don't have this version either.
Okay.
Because I don't even have the top right here. If you're watching on video, like it
Yeah.
has like this bubble, like a nice bubble frame on it. It looks very sleek. I don't have that, so maybe that will just roll out. but yeah, I do love what they're doing with the video and even the asset studio. This is something that I've caught myself doing as of late. If you're doing e-commerce or specifically clothing, uh, the white background and your clothes is long gone. That is something that worked back then just because I'm still sure that's how shopping or product listing ads want it. You can't have crazy overlays, but when you go into your Performance Max and you have the option to create more asset images or upload asset images, the studio makes your photos and just your overall images come alive with different backgrounds. And I use that a lot. I like using, and even if you have a lead gen, and some people say, well, you're using PMax for lead gen. Yeah, on a very small budget, I do. Very small budget. And I'll upload uh, stock photos and be like, warehouse in Texas. Even if they don't have that photo, I'm going to use that as an asset just because I know people want to look at photos. So I think the asset studio and what they're doing with generated video is only going to improve not only conversion rate, but like as they mentioned, the client's return on investment with Google Ads.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and I agree. For me, it's more of a case of I usually say if everybody's using like lifestyle imagery on Google Shopping, for example, then to stand out, you should just have a product only image, as in like the product with the white background, because then you're instantly standing out, and vice versa. If everybody's got products on Google Shopping that are, product only, then you should do lifestyle just to stand out, because then the eye naturally goes towards things that we're seeing on screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. Or obviously if it's just product lifestyle, if it's product only. So that's just a little click through rate trick that I use from time to time. But like Gene says, most people now are, especially in the fashion niche, are going more lifestyle imagery because you need to kind of, I mean, that kind of image there that we saw just then, like the product on its own with a plain background, it's really flat. It's really not doing much for you. But then as soon as you can generate these images now together and it takes it to like a AI model and wearing the outfit, really brings it to life. So it's just that upgrade from what Gene is talking about in terms of product studio and replacing backgrounds to now actually being able to generate high quality AI images to put an outfit together. I think that could be really, really incredible. Especially for this helps a lot of business owners and e-commerce owners who don't have large teams of photographers, who videographers, and that they don't have this type of money available. Now they're able to just take a quick photo with their iPhone or their Google Pixel or whatever it might be, and upload it. I've got to say that, right, because it's a Google led podcast. Gonna get the Pixel in there, but yeah, take a photo with your Pixel, upload the image into Merchant Center, and change the background. Try doing this now outpainting AI thing, image to video, and see how it works. So yeah, lots of interesting AI releases in Marketing Live 25, and I guess we kind of knew it. We kind of knew that the world is shifting to an AI world now, and I think personally we're in a very good position. Um, I think this kind of analogy gets thrown around a lot. I'm gonna stop sharing now. It's just giving me a headache. But I think what I'm about to say, I think the analogy gets thrown around a lot. But if we remember the early days of the internet, where it was just really chill and everybody was consuming information, and we had the world at our fingertips pretty much, I feel like with AI, we might be in a similar situation where we've got things like Gemini and Chat GPT, and we can create high quality images of like, show me as like a Barbie character or whatever it might be, right? And put me in like a room full of people giving a speech, like a TED talk. You can generate these types of images and they look really, really good. So we're in the kind of golden era, I think, of like AI at the moment. But as we know, it may turn. And we may ultimately, with the Tesla robots coming into play at some point, we may move into Terminator territory over the next 10 or 20 years. I don't know what your thoughts are on all of this,
Yeah, of
but
course.
yeah, it was definitely an AI led Google Marketing Live, and we expected that, I think.
Yeah, I think taking it further, can you imagine, like you said, it decreases small companies that sell clothing, perhaps, you don't need to hire a photographer. You don't have to hire a model. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to hire a model to look legitimate, like a legitimate clothing company online, which is, amazing. And at a certain point, I'm sure it's going to go beyond it went from us being able to generate different backgrounds or different elements inside a photo statically. And then now we're seeing dynamic videos with AI. And then I'm pretty sure next is going to be audio, where the video, it could be like, buy my Ryan Fenton brand pants or something like that. They're snug, they're talking, like a video, AI video, just the model that's AI generated talking, so I think it's just going to, I don't know. It's kind of creepy, but with the whole Terminator thing, I think there's going to be one bad thing that happens in the future, and then we all kind of like, whoa, AI, AI is a little dangerous. But yeah, I think there's vulnerability there is what I'm trying to say, with just how fast these models and these agents learn, and what exactly to the depth they learn about us, to almost invasive or privacy, related things where it's like they can divulge that information. So yeah, it's a rabbit hole that I've definitely thought about.
Wow. It sounds like you've gone down it a lot more than I have, but I'm with Chat GPT, that is the one that I use a lot and I love it. And I basically give it everything, every part of my life. So I don't know where that data is going, but someone's probably got a lot of data on me. But I just think that it's right now it's aiding me, it's helping me in so many different aspects in my life. Like I'd be a fool not to take advantage of that, I don't think. And listen, I don't want to turn it to a bit of a dark place, but we all know what's at the end, right? We're all not going to be here forever. So we might as well take advantage of what we have available now. And, with ChatGPT to be able to use that and, take advantage of that, I think why not? So I'm using it in every aspect of my life at the moment, whether it's business or personal. And I personally love it. But yeah, of course, there's always going to be data privacy concerns and things like that. But with, and I do keep mentioning this on different episodes, Google versus the US government at the moment going through the court hearings and things like that, I think that's kind of comforting to know that at least on some level, um, like people are fighting for our privacy. Over here in the UK and Europe, GDPR was a big thing that took off a few years ago and things like that. And, consent mode and things as well is taken off. So, there are a lot of concerns about how privacy is being shared and the data that we provide. So at least we've got something there. It's not like, yeah, I'm just going to sell my soul to you and you're going to have all this data on me. And then, yeah, it seems like we've got some level of safety net there. Do you think is that realistic, Gene? What do you think about that?
I think it's more realistic for Europe for sure, because I think Europe has a lot of consent mode and just regulations in general, which some people are in favor of regulations, and then some people believe regulations are an innovation killer. So yeah, I do think there is some here in the US. I think it's with the current administration, it becomes less and less, just because, Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO or founder, has been invited to White House multiple times. So I think there is some type of, you know, um, cronyism there, where it's like, yeah, of privacy for the people, but Elon, all these Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, all come to the White House so that we can learn more about what you're doing, so we can make more money off each other. So, yeah, it's just interesting where we're at with AI, and it's just been such a buzzword. And
Yeah.
will it continue to draw more privacy concerns? Yes, but how do we regulate it, and to what extent? That's just something to be, that we'll have to pay attention to in the future. But yeah.
That's a good point. This could be like a 2-hour episode of us talking about privacy, consent mode, AI. So I think we should look to definitely wrap it up. But overall, I mean, what are your final kind of takeaways from Google Marketing Live 25?
Yeah, before we get to our final wrap up, let's do our just a quick Ask a Freelancer
Are
segment.
we doing that? Let's do
And
it.
yeah, let's do it.
Oh, you got the music.
All right.
So I didn't know how to do that last week, so I just skipped over it because I didn't want to embarrass
Yeah,
myself. So yeah.
it's okay. Well, we got it this week. And Ryan, how do you manage burnout as a business owner or freelancer?
Yeah, great question. Underrated question because I think it happens a lot. There's days when I'll sit down at my desk and start doing the work, and I've got like emails coming in, and then I've got inquiries coming in, and then this account isn't performing very well, and everything just feels on top of me. And I don't feel like I have the time to get all the work done, especially the days when, I have to do the school run, and I drop the little girl off and then go and pick her up again. I just feel like I have half a day to work, so it can get very stressful at times. So there's a few things you can do. Obviously, there's like meditating, I think would help. That's really good. Drinking plenty of water, going to the gym, being active and healthy, which is something that I'm kind of on a journey of at the moment, doing all that. And I've definitely felt a bit more of like having more energy, a bit more uplifted and things like that. So that can help. I think if you are what you eat to a degree. And if you eat a lot of junk food and things like that, then you're not going to be in the right frame of mind. You're going to be like high on sugar and not being able to think straight and, crashing and things like that. Low energy, mood swings. So if you're eating good quality foods and things like that, that's going to help, especially with what we do, make data-driven decisions, communicate with clients, all that kind of good things, and structure your day. So yeah, leading an acty like lifestyle is good. But another thing would be I've got a couple of points actually. Another thing would be to have a team in place. Talked about this a few episodes ago, having like an accountant. I actually saw him today. Shout out to my accountant. I love the guy. Having like a team in place that can handle certain things, like maybe an admin person, maybe like you've got a campaign account manager or something like that. Maybe you've got a salesperson, an accountant, something like that. I think that just kind of helps you take, you get your time back, but also, it takes the pressure off running the business day to day, because you can't do everything and you shouldn't do everything because you're not smart enough to do everything. And if you are, I still think you should delegate, because you can't have your finger in multiple pies. You should focus on what you are good at. That's what I think as well. And then the last one is, someone told me this once, but I do think it's really good. Once a month, just take a day off for you, and whether it's going for a hike, a walk, going to get your hair cut or a beard trim, or, get like a massage. What I like to do is go to a spa. I like to take my fiance. We go to a spa. We just swim in swimming pool. We go to like steam room, sometimes get a massage, just chill out for a whole day. What we do is so stressful. Don't underrate yourself. It is very stressful dealing with data, looking at keywords, search terms, click-through rates, cost per click, trying to structure accounts, budgets, bidding strategies, trying to win business, dealing with clients that are leaving. The whole thing is very stressful and it can get on top of you sometimes. So just one day a month, take the day off, go for a walk, read a book, listen to a podcast, go to a sauna, steam room, get a nice haircut, get like a proper, like with the wet towel thing over your face, relax. That would be my advice. What about you? Is that
Yeah,
silly? Do you think that's silly or
no, no.
really?
I think I do that without even like thinking of like I don't even think about it anymore. Like I just get my haircut every 2 weeks, and massage every month, and then the gym every day. Yeah, I think that's all good things that you could do externally to manage burnout. Because you have to, because external and internal are both two parts of how to manage the burnout. But I think for me internally, it's more so being grateful, um, that we get to have these clients, or in Ryan's case, you get to be an entrepreneur and call the shots yourself. I get to, work a job that's very, very lenient and chill and also do this. And then it begins to not really seem like you're burnt out. It just seems like when I'm more grateful, I'm just like, man, that's I'd rather have this problem than no money, or no clients or no relationship. So I think it's perspective also on top of the external thing. You have to do those things. If I didn't work out, like I would, go to the gym to just relieve some stress and some steam, play basketball weekly, that's going to be very bad. You have to get your body up and moving. But I also think that for me, um, being grateful, it just provides a different lens of my attitude towards the situation, because being a freelancer entrepreneur is, aka what that means is you're always constantly figuring something out, because you're never at the peak of the mountain. You're continually going up and up and up, and there might be roadblocks here and there. But with that mindset, you're like, okay, let's just step back, zoom out, and know that I can focus and figure this out systematically than getting overwhelmed and burnt out. So that's kind of my perspective. But yeah, I definitely agree with all. I love getting my massages and my haircut. It makes me
You get
feel,
more than me. I'm so jealous
yeah,
right now.
yeah, dude, it's the
That's
best.
crazy. Is it?
But yeah, but
I got
so
one more. I want to throw
go
one
ahead.
more in the hat.
Yeah,
And I
throw it
think
in.
it's also yeah, I think it's about, having time to yourself. So, most people work 9 to 5. If you're a freelancer, you could work 10 till 4. Well, you can make your own time, right? If you're your own boss. And I think that's cool. And it's one of the perks that I definitely enjoy. Um, but I'm very, I don't work weekends unless I absolutely have to. That time is family time. It's for me and my partner, me and my children, things like that. Or, it could be after 5 o'clock. Sometimes I'm not going to lie. We're recording right now and it's 6:30 here in the UK. And there are some nights when I have to work late, and that's fine. I don't mind that. But most of the time I will, stop working around 5, 6 o'clock. And then that's time with my partner, time with the kids, just to wind down, and it could be anything. I might watch a film, a TV series, get some food, um, read a book, go gaming. I find it a little bit difficult to game these days because I just feel super guilty, but play golf, so hobbies is a big one as well. Make sure you've got some hobbies to do. Gene likes to play basketball. I like to play golf. We both like to go to the gym. So it's just about kind of, you know, managing burnout is like living your life as well, So if
Mhm.
you do feel stressed, go towards the other things that you really enjoy doing and that you love. Lean on your family and friends, go out with them, go for a drinks, go for dinner, go watch a movie, go, play golf, go play basketball, get a massage apparently every week, which I'm very jealous of.
Every
Uh,
month.
so yeah, is it every month or every week?
Every month. I'm not. Every week would be like if I was an NBA player. I would love that, to be honest. But yeah, every
That's so
month,
cool.
unfortunately.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, that'll be how do you manage burnout as a freelancer?
Yeah. And so, speaking of freelancers, this is something new that me and Ryan were discussing the other day. If you have any referrals for us for PPC management, or, just digital marketing in general, and they sign with us for at least a month, we will be giving out $100 referrals. That's either for me or Ryan. And you know where to find Ryan. You know where to find me. We'll talk about that more at the end of the episode. But that's something we're doing now. Anything you want to add to that referral for a signed client, Ryan?
Yeah, for sure. Gene and I, we love what we do. We are nerds for Google Ads. We literally have a podcast talking all about Google Ads. So our partners probably hate us. I know that every time my partner sees me on TikTok, she's like, "Oh, you again." So the thing is that we love what we do. We're very passionate, and I genuinely do love what I do. I love helping the clients I have and businesses getting them more results, whether it's leads, calls, sales, better return on ad spend, return on investment. We both live for this stuff. We live and breathe it. And, we want to take it to the next level. We're not like messing around here. Like, we love doing what we do, but at the same time, we want to, you know, make sure our kids, and future kids and things like that are taken care of. And, we take care of our families and all while doing what we do and helping you guys, whether you're business owners,
Sorry.
cut me off. Right, that was it. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate
See you
it.
later.
Yeah, that's it. I want to thank my
Continue.
mom. I want to yeah.
Oh my god.
You
Go
stop
ahead.
playing me the music. Oh my
It's
god.
like the Oscars when you're done, they're like
Yeah,
shoving
like
you. They're all sorry.
like the
Continue.
mic's not working.
Yeah, yeah. My bad.
That was so funny. The point is that we love doing what we do, right? And we want to scale aggressively. We want to get more clients on the books. And so what we're saying at the moment is if you are a business owner, or if you know anyone, or if you've got like all these clients as a freelancer and you just don't have the capacity anymore, you don't have the time anymore, refer us. We're pretty decent at what we do, I'd like to say. So I'm happy to, if you refer me to a client, or you say, I've got a really good guy for Google Ads management for you, Ryan Fenton, PPC, Gene Villanoz, or Tempest 59, reach out to them and, you will get, we will, no strings attached. We will send you £100, $100, wherever you are, just for referring us, just as a thank you gesture. So, yeah, go away, have a think about that. If you do know anyone that wants Google Ads management, or you're interested yourself, yeah, just reach out to us at the PPC Cave at gmail.com.
Sounds good. And that concludes Ask a Freelancer. All right.
Me off with the music before, man.
Cool. So, last thing before we wrap up, this was a scary quote in Google Marketing Live 2025, and I'll quote it. This is verbatim. Only way to win in the new era of search is with AI powered campaigns. And they called these AI powered campaigns, quote unquote, the Power Pack, PMax, AI Max Research campaigns, and Demand Gen. What are your initial thoughts towards that quote? Only way to win in the new era of search is with AI powered campaigns. Scary, right? He's like,
well, I don't know. I'm not convinced yet. They've just look, PMax is what, 3 years old? Wait, maybe 3 or 4 years old now, I think. But then obviously it kind of transcends beyond that through smart shopping, you could say. AI Max has only just been released. And now they're talking about all these AI overview ads and things like that. So it's way too early to tell, in my estimation. If they're saying it, then maybe I think there's also an element, ironically, of marketing from themselves, right? They want business owners and freelancers to adapt to their new ways of thinking, their new shiny campaign types and things like that. That's why they push Performance Max hard and things like that. So there's a marketing element of that, of, hey, we want to really push through, AI Max, P Max, Power Pack, whatever you want to call it, and get you guys on this because it spends all the money. We don't really care about your results. It spends all the daily budget, and that's what we want because we get commission on the clicks. So that's what I'm thinking. They just want to push it. But until we see the results of these new campaign types, these new smart bidding, exploration type of things, I'm not convinced. I think, listen, we've come all this way from what, like, I don't even remember, like 2012, 2016, 2018, 22, 25 now. All the changes that have happened in Google Ads all the designs, all the campaigns that have come and gone, the bidding strategies that have come and gone, the match types, the ad copy variation, like responsive and expanded text ads and things like that. There's been a hell of a lot of changes. What do we still have access to? Manual bidding, standard shopping campaigns, broad phrase, exact match. If they've withstood the test of time, I think there's always going to be a need. There's always going to be a place for them. So honestly, if they've been able to like withstand like what 15 years or something of Google Ads changes, then right now I'm not convinced. But maybe by the end of the year, or in 2 years or 3, 5 years time, I could be eating my own words, and I could be completely wrong. And maybe Power Pack is the future. But until I see the results in front of me, just as any decent Google Ads account manager, until I see the data right in front of me, who knows?
Yeah. I hope this is not the case, but it's kind of scary though once you start looking at the performance of manual based campaigns versus what they attribute conversions to a PMAX campaign, which might not, we don't necessarily have all the transparency in the attribution with that. So it might look like AI powered campaigns are the future, but essentially, if they're not providing that full transparency, how are we going to be able to reconcile that towards a manual shopping campaign, towards a manual search campaign? You know, there are some Google Ads specialists out there that might see, oh, I'm going to do all manual, all exact. Whoa, clicks are $50? No way. I'm just going to do max clicks broad. You know what I'm saying? So it's like putting all your eggs in one basket if you're going to do manual versus letting AI do its thing and having someone else to blame if it doesn't work, you know? So it's kind of scary because I remember not too long ago, you couldn't even run shopping and PMAX together because PMAX would totally cannibalize not only the conversions, but the whole budget and impressions of shopping. So the scary thing is if you had the Power Pack, quote, quote, PMAX, AI Max Search or Max Search demand gen, and you run it alongside a manual shopping and search, down the road, is it going to be 50-50 impressions and clicks and budget spent towards a manual campaign versus an AI powered campaign? I don't think so. So that's the scary truth that I feel like I hope the PPC managers can still retain control by not being pushed out and only running manual or only running AI powered campaigns, because it feels like that's what Google is going to force us to do. You know what I'm saying? You're either going to run a Google shopping manual or search manual, no PMAX, or you're just going to run the Power Pack. So hopefully I'm wrong, like Ryan mentioned also. Not me, but he's wrong about where it's going, because we want best of both worlds. Any final thoughts as we close out, Ryan?
No, I think we've covered everything. I think, you know, it's 50-50. We're kind of heading into this AI kind of future with Google, as we know. But I think the core fundamentals of advertising will always stay the same, you know, of what you want to achieve. You have a business goal. How are we going to, you know, achieve that goal? Through what campaign types? Through what budget? Through what bidding strategy? You know, and maybe through what keywords. So I don't think, you know, that's ever going to change. I think we're always going to have the core fundamentals of advertising. We just have to adapt. Whatever Google or whatever platform it is that brings out advertising, that PPC, not even Google, I'm going to say PPC, whatever pay-per-click managers have to do to survive, whichever platform, we will evolve just like we did before, where it was broad match modified, expanded text ads, call-only ads, and things like that, to now where we are with AI Max and, you know, smart bidding strategies and maybe smart bidding exploration and things like that. So I would say we're very good at, you know, being a chameleon and constantly evolving and changing colors to fit. So yeah.
Sounds good. Well, yeah. This was a good episode. Very dense. Google Marketing Live 2025 reactions from the PPC Cave. Me and Ryan Fenton. Ryan, where can they find you at?
Yeah, you can find me at ryanfentonppc.co.uk, and I'm just about to launch on Upwork now. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm going to try Upwork again. I think I tried it for about a week in 2022 and got frustrated and didn't see any results. So now I'm going to knuckle down and over the next 6 months, going to try Upwork. So if you are interested in working with me, you can hire me that way on Upwork. So yeah, what about you?
Sounds good. Yeah, you can find me at my new website, Tempus. TEMPUS 59 tempest59.com. I'm there for any PPC work. I'm starting to do Meta now, so if you need Meta ads, let me know. And yeah, I think this was a good episode. Again, we do have a Riverside code. Oh, Tempest
Oh,
59.
look what I did there.
So this is version 1. Okay, so no one crucify me for this, but this is version 1. I'll continue to have more content on there. There's my beautiful smile. But yeah, we release every Monday, 12 a.m. Mountain Time on YouTube video, Spotify video, and regular Spotify. If you want to try Riverside, check out the item description or the video description. It'll have our code in there. And again, referrals for $100 for a signed client. This has to be a new client that's signed. All right. So me and Ryan will, no strings attached, give you $100 for any referral client that signs. But yeah, if there's nothing else, then I guess bye for now.